Welcome back to Retro Game Geek. Today we'll be looking at LaunchBox on the Odin. So this is my preferred launcher. I tried Dig and Arc Browser, but I just wasn't happy with them. So if you hit the L1, you can hit open the hamburger menu, and if you hit R1, you can open the context menu. So I'll show you changing views here. This is the banner's default view. We have basic text list, which just be a list of platforms with a short description. I really don't like the look of that personally. Text list with details. This is how I do most of my games, but you can see here, and I haven't actually used this view, so they'll load automatically like this. And the last view is wheel with details, just a vibrant logo of each item. Alright, so my preferred view is banner. Let's go back to that. Alright. Now, if you go into a collection, you can see what I like. You can set it so that your favorites are on top, just like Emulator, which I like a lot. If you go down this way, you'll see it goes very slowly, but if you want to go fast, you can go with the right stick down, and it'll page down for you. And of course, you got full controller support. B there, A to go in. This is on the Odin controller settings. And if you hold down, I have it set up so if you hold down, you'll go into the context menu. I believe by default, you just tap it and it goes in the context menu, but I prefer to push the button to go into a game and then hold it down to go into a context menu. You see, you also have additional versions, so I could choose to play a different version other than the green label. So if I want to play red label or yellow label, they're right there. One thing I love about LaunchBox is that it will automatically combine duplicates for you, which is incredibly useful. All right, let's go back out here. The only systems I could not get to run were the Atari 5200. It would load, but it wouldn't accept any controller input. And I couldn't get BSNES to run, but there I could get the SNES 9X core. So let's look for that, the 2600 real quick. And once you add a system, you go in here and you can choose to change the view. So this is the same kind of views. Basic text list. Boxes grid. So you have your game art there. And it automatically just loads in the background if you haven't loaded it before. Text list with details. That's my preferred view. And we also have wheel with details, which will be the logo of the game with its artwork on the right. And I love that you don't have a scraping phase. There's no scraping phase. It just automatically scrapes as you scroll through. So if you load a system and never look at the games, you won't ever download the artwork for them. Let's go back. You see it's just beautiful banners here as you go through. All right, so let's load a system for demonstration. Here we go to import games. I can choose the folder of games to import. Go down here. This is my external drive, or my external SD card. The ROMs, I'll go down to the Atari 7800. I'll select this folder. You can also use the touchscreen, obviously. I'm just showing off that it also works with the controller. So say you have this docked, you can still set this all up. The platform, you choose your platform you want. There's all kinds of platforms. I'll pick the 7800. Region to prioritize, so it'll be the first game you choose, and then it'll have the other regions set for your additional versions, which I showed earlier. So I would highly recommend having this on. Combine ROMs with matching titles into a single game. That is, if you have multiple ROMs for the same game, it'll combine them, so then you can choose it, and then additional versions. Import games from subfolders. I don't have subfolders here. Use folder names instead of ROM file names. So if you want to have folder names for each of your games, you can do that. I don't. For the arcade games, you can use main metadata, which is really nice. And force import duplicate games that already exist. So I also recommend having this off unless you really want to have duplicate games. Proceed with import. So now it looks at the directory and finds all the games. There they are. So then you say proceed. All right, very quick. But 7800 is also a fairly small library. So, but I don't think it's lasted ever more than a few minutes. It's been very quick. So once you get your game set up, well, let's go to the 2600 for an example. You can go into here. You want to set up your emulator settings down here. So I've sideloaded RetroArch, but you can choose RetroArch Plus might be what you picked if you got it from the Google Play Store. Or a custom emulator, you can set up your own. And then there's a default, like an actual Android app for running 2600 games. You can pick whatever emulator you want. I want to show you RetroArch. I have mine sideloaded, as I said, so I choose that. And then you can choose which core you want. So I have Stella 2014 and Stella Libretto Android. I've already chosen Stella Libretto from before, so that's still there. And then you can choose if you want to extract ROM archives or not. Verify configuration, you just tap that and you say, yes, I have RetroArch installed and it's ready to be launched. And another nice feature here is that you can actually open RetroArch. So say I've just installed LaunchBox and RetroArch. I don't have the Stella core yet. Open RetroArch. You can go into the online updater, core downloader, and then you could go down to Atari 2600 Stella, or Stella 2014 if you prefer that core. And then the idea is you can go back and quit. And I'm right back here and I could launch a game. So let's say we launch, Enduro's a great game. Let's go into Enduro. Boom, right into the game. And one thing you want to know with these launchers is you want to fully exit out of RetroArch, which I have set up for select start. So you see this works. I'll just show it real quick. There we go. We're playing Enduro. Brilliant racing game for the Atari 2600. All right, so let's quit that. And you're right back in your launcher. Now, like I said, I prefer the other view, so I'm going to change this view already to text list with details. And I particularly like that in LaunchBox, your favorites are on top. And I was also a bit annoyed at first because I was like, well, there's no favorites tab here. But you go back here and under all games, if I hit that, I can see all of my favorites right here because the favorites are on top. So if anyone can get Atari 5200 to work, I'd be very curious what your settings are. I've set this Atari 800 here. That's actually the only core they let you have. But it loads the game, doesn't work with the controls though. Same with BSNES. So if anyone has a solution to that, let me know. If you want to go down into like all of my emulator settings, we could also set that up in a separate video. It's quite a bit for first time. I just want to give you an overview why I like this, and that's pretty much all I have to say about it. So say like, subscribe, share this with your friends who are looking for a launcher on their Odin, and I'll see you in the next video.